Thank you, Acting Deputy Speaker. And I'd like to echo the sentiments of the member for Bruce in terms of the planning that we've seen from this government since it came to government. As the member for Bruce said, they've had lots of plans. They haven't stuck to any of those plans. We'll probably see a new plan. But I've sensed that there's one consistent line that's coming through from this government, and it's a line that distresses me. Last year we had the Treasurer out there with his lifters and his leaners, showing his ignorance, showing his ability to divide this country. And today we had the member for Cook up there doing the same, with rhetoric around the notion, the implication, the clear implication that families in receipt of the Family Tax Benefit Part B are somehow not working, that to a family they are leaners, was the implications I heard today and yesterday in question time. Well, Acting Deputy Speaker, that's the problem, because that plan is not going to work either. Because in my electorate, where 18,000 families are in receipt of the FTB, most of them are working. In fact, many of them are two-income families who are still in receipt of the FTB because they have modest incomes. I know it's not something that the Sydney North Shore front bench over there understand, but many people work for a minimum wage. Although they do know where they are when they want to hit them and they want to take away their superannuation contribution. They know where to find them then. But I do have another message, and I bring this message from home from Lawler today. This government's plans aren't coming to fruition because they're finding it difficult to stick to a plan. But that message, that attempt to divide this nation, is mean and sneaky and tricky, and it will backfire. And it will backfire because in my electorate, those small business people, the small business people that the other side talk about how they're going to save this country, many of them in my electorate are actually family tax benefit recipients. So I want to drive that point home, because it won't divide this nation. It will backfire as we unravel the detail of this budget and we find the people who are going to be impacted most. And in my electorate, you're going to find that those people are the same people, the people that the member for Cook, the minister, tried to demonise in this chamber today in question time, tried to sell a line to the press gallery upstairs, tried to sell a line that people who are getting support through the FTB are somehow leaners, not worthy, not contributors. Well, in my community, they contribute plenty, Acting Deputy Speaker.
Hear, hear.
Because where we live, where I live, we don't have a lot of spare cash, and we don't have many families who can afford to make huge contributions, personal contributions to their superannuation. And that's why Labor's low-income superannuation input was so important. Right. And it's why it was so unfair that this government cut it out. It was incredibly unfair. And now, when Labor comes up with a plan on superannuation that seems to meet the fairness test in my electorate, certainly meets the fairness test in my electorate, a plan that would mean that we won't lose $45 billion over the next 7 years by freezing the superannuation guarantee, or the delay in the increase of the superannuation guarantee, which of course would help families in my electorate, which of course would help them build superannuation so that they may not be reliant on the pension as they get older. So there seems to be an unfairness at the core of this government, an incredible unfairness. Families in my electorate on $65,000 stand to lose up to $6,000 on this government's changes. And yet high-income retirees with $2 million in their superannuation, don't touch them. They can't be asked to make a contribution. It is unfair at the
Order.
core.